Today on the College Sports Report, we take a look back at the Olympic Games in Torrino, at some of the bright and not so bright moments of this year's games. It was senior night all across San Francisco as the Gators and Dons played their final game before the Swamp and War Memorial Gym audiences. And we take a look at how sports, regardless of athletic ability, plays a role in our everyday lives. CSR is coming at you right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the greatest show on earth. I'm Chris Farrajon.
And I'm Michelle Dapper. That's right. We got alleys, we got oops, we got Olympics, and we got hoops. So pull up your favorite chair, take the phone off the hook. It's time for College Sports Report.
We start with the San Francisco State men's basketball team. It's been a tough road this year as the Gators remained winless despite losing 2 close road games last week. They would host Cal State's Bakersfield, Chico, and Stanislaus in their final 3 home games. Getting started with the Bakersfield Roadrunners, the Gators hope to improve on their 65-77 road loss to them earlier this season. Oscar Edwards would do his best to keep the Gators close as he lays it up for 2 of his team-high 15. Lawrence Metz would pitch him with a steal and a layup of his own. But Bakersfield isn't 18-5 for nothing as Zach Grasmick brought into the alley and Antonio Griffin packed a whole suitcase full of hoop. The Roadrunners took a 53-28 lead into halftime. In the second half, Bakersfield would shoot the lights out as Antonio Griffin, Tyler Hare, Marlon Mitchell, and Jesse Soto pitch in for 4 Bakersfield school record 16 threes. Marlon Mitchell would run out the clock as Bakersfield hammers SFSU 96-48. The Gators would then start the next weekend hosting the Chico State Wildcats. Lawrence Metz got it started, finding Oscar Edwards for 2 of his 19 as San Francisco would jump out to a quick 8-0 lead. But Chico's Jared Contente no es contente as he nails the second of 2 threes to get Chico going. On the ensuing possession, Daniel McLean finds Will Logan and he converts the layup for 2 of his game-high 23. But the Gators will go cold later in the half. And Chico's Rodney Lewis gets his alley and Pat Gallus's oop. And it's 2 great tastes that go great together as Chico would take a 29-22 lead into halftime. More Chico in the second half as Brian Erickson hits a 3 to put the Wildcats up 10 with 13 to play. The Gators would come storming back though, taking their first lead of the second half on this huge 3 by Metz with under 3 minutes to go. Chico's Andy Bocane would shoot a 3 at the buzzer for the win, but it's no good, and the Gators notch their first victory of the season. Congratulations to the SFSU men for their first win of the season. It would have been easy for them to lay down, especially after Chico took that 10-point lead in the second half, but this team battled back and won one for pride. We'll have highlights of senior night later in the show.
Coming off a 20-point loss to Cal State Bakersfield, Lady Gators hope to reverse their fortunes against Chico State. Heading down to the Swamp, San Francisco State takes on Chico Wildcats. Off to the good start, Maria Orozco snags the ball, pushes the ball to Leslie Miller, who takes it home for a layup. Miller finishes the game with 11 points and 4 steals. Moments later, Sandra Hernandez goes for the 3, and it's all bueno. Now here come the Cats getting wild. Adriana Spencer's passes to Amy Hollaback, and yes, she is their Hollaback girl, draining the 3 and puts them up by 8. Spencer launches a 3, no good, but cleans up her own mess and settles for 2. Chico is up by 15. Moving on to the second half, same story for the Wildcats as Haley Ford picks off the pass and takes it to the net. 2 more for the Cats. Farron Lewis takes the shot, decline. Corey Edwards picks up the tab, down the court to Nikki Simons, and transaction is complete. Chico goes on to win it 96-55. Later on in the show, Lady Gators look to find the victory on senior night against Cal State Stanislaus. Now we're going to go to Eric in the newsroom with an Olympic recap.
Thank you, Chris and Michelle. The Winter Olympic Games only come around once every 4 years, and we here at CSR would like to show you some of the great action. Not even ESPN was allowed to broadcast the highlights, but our very own technical supervisor, Adam Schmidt, was able to obtain permission from the IOC and NBC to use some of their great footage. Let's check it out. It was a glorious opening ceremonies as they got ready for the 20th Winter Olympic Games from Torrino, Italy. USA's Apollo Anton Ono starts from the #1 position on the short track, or otherwise known as the 500-meter speed skate. Ono jumped out to the early lead as he glides past Canada and his arch rival An from Korea. On had already won the gold in the 1,000 and 1,500 meter speed skates. Canada would get disqualified, but Ono took no notice of it as he skated round and round and took the 24-carat necklace. He was overjoyed. He skated the perfect race that he had been looking for his whole career. Now we go to the men's speed skating relay as the U.S. was looking for their second gold medal in speed skating. Here's the speedster Ono as he takes the push-off from teammate Rusty Smith. Ono drives hard to try and pass up the Italian team. Korea and Canada were dominating as they had a separate race of their own as they fought for the gold. And On of Korea is happy about getting his third gold medal of the Torrino Games. Ono would then hustle around the ice and barely squeak past Italy to salvage the bronze for the Americans. We head outside for some pipage as American Shaun White drops in and looks for some big air. Then he hits the McTwist right here, which sets him up for the sick frontside 1080. White then nails a fakey 1080. The Flying Tomato had it going on as he comes back with the 900 and finishes off all the competition with a backside 900. There was no question that Shaun White would take the gold. Sasha Cohen should take notice of the Flying Tomato, just like the crowd did. Now, onto the slopes as Julia Mancuso of the United States slices up the gates as she flies down the fresh powder in the women's Super G. Bad weather wouldn't slow her down as Mancuso drove home for the gold and won by less than 7/10 of a second. She was absolutely beside herself as she falls to the ground in amazement. The women snowboarders tore up the mountain in the parallel giant slalom. Rosie Fletcher of the United States became the first American woman to receive a medal in this event as she took the bronze. She barely squeaks out Gunther from Austria. The crowd shows their approval of Fletcher. Then American skier Bodie Miller didn't bode very well as he hits a gate on the inside of turn 10, eliminating his Olympic chances. Miller should have stuck to his old routine of pounding the flask before hitting up the slopes. And on the note of Miller biting the dust, we take you now to our Ducks and Targets and Torrino. America had a good showing in the Winter Games as they placed second in gold medals overall with 25. Canada followed closely with 24, but the Germans took the cake with 29 medals of their own, including 11 golds. We here at College Sports Report look forward to the 2010 Games as it's the 21st Olympics overall. I'm your Olympic correspondent, Eric Goldstein. I'd like to throw it back into the studio to Chris and Michelle.
Thanks, Eric, for that wrap-up. See you in 2 years for those Summer Olympics. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go away.
That's right. Coming up, we're giving away San Francisco Senior Night highlights, USF Santa Clara highlights, and maybe even a copy of our home game.
We have a home game?
Just stay tuned.
Is there anyone out there who still isn't clear about what doing drugs does? Okay, last time. This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Hey, man. Want a taste of something make you feel good?
Leave me alone.
Try it out. You don't know what you're missing. A little crack won't hurt you.
It'll make me a crackhead.
Won't cost you nothing. This one's on me. Absolutely free.
I said no, man.
Good job, son. That's just what you do if that ever happens.
Okay, Dad.
Deal with your kids. Tell them the truth about drugs. It could be the most important role you ever play.
Like how you handled yourself.
We're back. Did you miss us?
I know I missed you. Yeah, you. Right there. In the red.
The Gator wrestling team finished 6th place at the 2006 NCAA Western Regional Championships in Colorado. Senior Sandeep Singh, standing at 6'1" and 285 pounds, won 4th place at the conference. Now Virgil Lockett finished 3rd in the 133 weight class to advance to the NCAA Division II Championships 2 weeks in Ohio. CSR would like to wish Lockett the best of luck.
This weekend was the last home game for 2 seniors on both the men's and women's teams for San Francisco State basketball, as both teams took on Cal State Stanislaus. Here's a look at both the games and the career numbers of those Gators who are saying their so longs. The women would get things started. Senior Leslie Miller leads off our parade of seniors, as she finds Chloe Grimm for the lay-in. Grimm would have a game-high 22. Our other farewell for the women goes to Farron Lewis as she hits a jumper in the lane. That was 2 of her 14. Maria Orozco hits a 3 towards the end of the half. And the Gators go to the locker room down 4. And the cheerleaders are so excited that they get stuck in some kind of temporal loop. I can't hold it together, Captain. In the second half, Orozco drives to the basket for 2 more. Lewis would hit a 3 at the buzzer, but that was only enough to bring the Gators back within 3 as they would lose 65-62. The men would look for revenge in the nightcap. Senior Julian Harmon looks on as Oscar Edwards puts it in. And the Gators' other senior, Kellen Joshua, gets a block here to go with his 15 points on the game. Despite 3s from Lawrence Metz and Zach Johnson, San Francisco would head for the locker room, trailing 48-35. The Gator Sports Department had a surprise for the faithful at halftime as the Warriors Team Thunder came out to wow the crowd. And I gotta say it, Thunder, Thunder, Thundercats, ho! If you don't get that, go ask someone over 30. In the second half, Ian Swift hits the layup, Edwards gets the putback, and Danny McLean takes the Chevy to the levee, but it's not quite enough as Cal State Stanislaus takes it 78-30. The Gator men played a non-conference game Tuesday, losing to Grand Canyon in Phoenix, and both the men and women finished their seasons on the road against UC San Diego and Cal State San Bernardino. Both teams have had a rough time this season, but with only 4 graduating seniors between them, they both look to take a step up next season.
Having lost 8 out of the last 10, the Lady Dons were looking to get back on track against Portland. The Pilots were on a bit of a losing binge themselves, having lost 16 of the past 17. At War Memorial Gymnasium, something had to give. Let's fly across town as Lady Dons host the Portland Pilots. Let's get the game jumping. LaShante Stevens misses a 3. Long rebound goes to Shay Rollins, who pushes up the court. A pass to Danae Wellender, dishes a dime to Nakia Peace. In for the layup, Dons up by 2. Portland on a comeback, Jennifer Wassam finds herself wide open in the corner, knocks it down for 3 at the buzzer. Pilots head into the halftime down by 19. Lady Dons in a quick round of hot potato. Stevens in for a shot, too short. Dominique Carter with a rebound and puts it up by 2. Portland still trailing. Carly Burles hands off to Rachel Warren. Warren launches to Allison Sievers, in for an easy layup. Lady Dons still ahead. Peace chucks the ball to Carter and takes it in for 2 more. USF takes the win over the Pilots, 80-70. Let's see if the Dons can pull in another win as Don Francisco roots them on. Might save the dancing for later. Zags off to a good start. Dominique Harris pushes the ball to Katie Ridnor, who drives it into the bucket. Zags take 9-point lead. Moments later, Stephanie Hawks flies it in for an easy layup. Zags are still up. In a need for a comeback, LaShante Stevens heaves the ball across the court to Shay Rollins for the 3. Don Francisco is not happy at the half. Lady Dons trail by 7. Starting off the second half, Rollins takes it all the way in to the 2. For the Zags, Ann Bailey takes down the baseline and puts in a reverse layup. To cap things off, Bailey puts in her final 2 points of her game-high 15. Zags rule 71-53. The Dons will square off against the Zags again next week in the WCC tournament in Spokane.
The USF Dons came into their last home game 6-5 in conference and looking to improve their seeding in the WCC tournament. They would host Santa Clara. Let's check the tape. It's senior night in War Memorial Gym as Jason Wallace-Carter, Jerome Gums, and Alan Ingerson were honored in their final home game. Take a bow, boys. Santa Clara would crash that party early, however, as Dominique Daniel nails one of his 2 trays. Daniel would go 7 for 9 for 21 points off the bench. More Daniels as he runs the floor in transition and converts the high percentage shot. Santa Clara would be up by as much as 20 in the first half, but hey, it's senior night, and USF senior Jerome Gums does not like what he sees as he steals the ball, runs the floor, and gets rewarded at the other end. Later, Alan Wiggins denies Sean Dennison, and the Dons get it ahead to Armando Surratt, who lays it in with the and one. Surratt says, "Don't worry, coach, I will keep us in this game." He would have 21. Moving to the second half, Drew Schiller, three-cola. He'd finish with 23. With the Dons down 4, senior Wallace-Carter takes the entry pass and hammers it home. Then off the steal, Wallace-Carter puts in his second straight dunk to tie it up at 60. Booyah! Santa Clara would go back ahead, but USF would tie it up again, this time with Surratt's tray. But at crunch time, the Broncos would hand it to Travis Neeson and get out of the way as he hits this runner in the lane. Then later he hits the layup, giving Santa Clara a 5-point lead. Neeson would finish with a game-high 31 points and 9 boards as Santa Clara would spoil senior night for the Dons by winning 83-78. After their home finale, USF headed north for the weekend, edging out Portland 74-72 before dropping a heartbreaker to conference champ Gonzaga 75-72. They will be the 4 seed heading into the WCC conference tournament.
The San Francisco State softball team is 13-5 this year as they hope to improve on last year's second-place CCAA conference finish.
One of their team leaders is senior Sonia Garrett. In 2005, she was named CCAA Pitcher of the Year, and she was the 2005 West Regional Tournament MVP. Sonia was good enough to come down to the studio this afternoon, and she sits down with our own Ivan Basquil. Ivan?
Thank you guys at the desk. I'm here today with pitcher Sonia Garnett. She is a star pitcher for the number 9 softball team in the nation, the San Francisco State University Gators. Thank you, Sonia, for being here.
No problem. It's my pleasure.
Okay, now I want to talk a little bit about the difference of the teams between last year's team, who finished 4th in Nationals, and this year's team. What do you think is the biggest difference between the 2 teams?
Experience. I think we had 2 very experienced seniors graduate last year who saw a lot of playing time. We had 4 new freshmen come in. We have a whole different team dynamic, but we still have the same core attitude and mentality. So as long as we approach the game the same, we have just as much talent.
What is that core mentality that you guys have?
Have fun. Be out there because you love it, you know. Every day, work hard. Every team we face is a new opportunity to just play our game. It's not about being ranked or anything like that. So.
Okay, now a little bit about your individual honors. You are a 2-time All-American. What does that feel like?
It feels great. It doesn't. I'm trying not to bring any of that into this year because I think every year is different. It feels good though. It just shows how hard our team works because you can't have any All-Americans on a team that doesn't produce. So I think it's a great thing for the program as well. So.
Okay, and again, a little bit more individual stuff. You pitched a 2-hitter against the number 3 team in the nation, Shippensburg, I believe it was, a Pennsylvania team. Now, did that build your confidence?
Definitely. I mean, there was a lot of stuff before that game that happened.
Like what?
We had just played Emporia, and the pitcher had almost shut down our whole offense except for 1 home run. So we got kind of nervous a little bit about how we were playing. The next game we came in, they were supposed to be a better team than Emporia. There was just a lot of talk, a lot of hype about it, and so we really pumped up, and I think I did as well. And we had never seen Shippensburg before, so It was a good game.
Looking in the future a little bit, you guys are ranked number 9. How do you feel like you're going to finish in the Nationals?
I don't want to talk about that. I think I don't want to jinx anything. I think it's one game at a time. If we keep playing like we can play, I think we'll do fine.
So do you have any superstitions?
Oh, tons of them. Tons of them.
Name one, the biggest one.
When I go out onto the field, if anyone else touches the ball before I do, like, the inning's probably...
Bad omen?
Yeah, bad omen. So I have to be the first one. People can't, like, hand it to me or kick it to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for being on our College Sports Report show.
No problem.
Well, we'd like to thank the senior softball pitcher, Sonia Garnett, star of the San Francisco State University Gator softball team. Back to you guys at the desk, Chris.
Thanks, Ivan. Sonia and the rest of the Gator softball team return to action on Saturday, March 4th as they take on Cal State Bakersfield.
Well, Chris, it's that time again.
What time, Michelle?
Time for us to take a break and send a positive message to the youth of America.
All right then, kids, take a look at these and stay tuned because we've got Plays of the Week and an up-close look at sports culture coming up on the other side. Michelle and I will be right back.
Hello, my name's Penny. I think people shouldn't do drugs. They can make you forget things, like which animals have stripes. And your body might get clumsier, so you can't jump rope as good. Drugs can get you in big trouble. You could go to principal's office or go to jail. Then you can't watch TV or eat pizza. Recess is good. Hamsters are good. Birthday parties are real good. Drugs are bad. I wouldn't do drugs.
Now, kid, be cool. You just give this stuff to your best buddies. Tell your friends it's a great high. Tell them it can't hurt them.
I can do that.
Just give it away. And you see who comes back for more.
And then I start charging.
You're a smart kid. You have a good day at school, Billy boy.
And we're back. I hope all you kids paid attention. Stay on drugs, don't do school.
Chris, I think you have that backwards.
Whatever. Sport has become an integral part of American culture, from the clothes we buy to how we spend our free time. Right now, CSR's Tim Mammerl takes a look about how sports culture affects the students here at San Francisco State.
Sports culture means a lot to more than just multi-million-dollar superstar athletes. From our Little League games and softball games as youngsters to the playground pickup games with friends. We watch it on television. We play near photorealistic video games. We hit the waiver wire in our fantasy leagues. And read the latest news on draft coverage and trade rumors. We hit the bars to cheer and argue with each other. We run to the nearest malls to pick up the latest Air Jordans. And even the music we listen to is somehow influenced by sports. So CSR decided to speak to students at San Francisco State to find out how sports have influenced their lives.
Sports is a tremendous part of the culture because we're a competitive society.
Everything basically revolves around sports, especially with adolescents.
It's part of their everyday life. It's something that people do.
And I think everybody's played a sport in their life, in this whole culture, and if not, they at least watch it.
Sports Center is one of the most popular shows on TV, and people watch it all the time. And obviously the Super Bowl is the most watched event in America and one of the most watched events in the world.
I'm definitely a fan of sports: basketball, football, baseball, even tennis.
All about football, baseball, basketball.
I played soccer in high school, but I didn't get my physical, so they made me water boy. Then video games, of course, fight night. I love boxing.
I still play high heat baseball from like 2003, and like Madden 2004. And I don't care. I just love the game. So football, it's all about strategy with me. And
a lot of fashion. Fashion definitely goes hand in hand with sports, especially with some sneakerheads. So
people like to dress a certain way to be recognized as sports, athletic.
I think everyone wears some kind of sports apparel, whether it's especially shoes. That's a main thing. Whether it's running shoes, basketball shoes, skateboarding shoes.
See how many guys come out here just to really just let off some steam because all the studying and classwork and everything. You really need to come out here and just get your blood flow up and your heart rate up. And that'll help you study better. It really goes hand in hand being a student. So
a lot of guys strive to be good at sports. It's because you get the ladies.
From San Francisco State University, this is Tim Mamrell, CSR.
Thanks, Tim. Get the girls, huh? I was Tri-State Tiddlywinks champion for 3 years running, and it didn't get me one girl. And for those who say Tiddlywinks isn't a sport, let me just tell you that I still have no feeling in this finger. Champions play through the pain.
As we had a lot of games this week, CSR took the time to find the top 5 plays of the week. Let it roll. Here's play number 5. Number 4. Number 3. Down to the 2. And the numero uno play of the week.
Oh, that was something.
Say that again.
Well, the essence of sport is competition. Magic versus Bird, Russell versus Chamberlain, Giants versus Dodgers. But perhaps no competition is more intense, more fierce than the head-to-head grudge match that is CSR Point Counterpoint.
That's right, Chris. And today we have 2 of the best in the business, Ivan Basquel and Kevin Liu. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. Take it away, boys.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another day in Point Counterpoint. My competitor in today's competitive banter will be none other than Kevin Liu. Talk to the people.
What's up, folks? How you doing? This guy looks like Steve Young. I don't know what to say.
Hey, he's a good man. Either way, first topic we're going to discuss today is the MVP of the NBA. Who you got?
Thus far, I have Kobe Bryant. He averaged 35 points a game.
Of course you
5
got Kobe.
Rebounds,
Why
5 assists.
Why wouldn't you? Either way, Dirk Nowitzki, okay? Oh. Kobe, 1 game over 500. Nowitzki, first place, going to the playoffs, bye.
Okay, MVP, what is the criteria? Are you the best player in the league? Kobe, yes.
Nash, best player last year.
Are you the most valuable player
team.
on your team?
He
Kobe
got
Bryant,
it.
yes.
He got it
Kobe
because
Bryant
of the best
both
team.
of them. Kobe Bryant should be the MVP.
Next topic, World Baseball Classic. First time ever. Who you got and do you care?
Actually, I don't care, but the USA better win. Baseball was made in America, and if they don't win, it'll be a travesty.
Look, baseball might have started here, but we are no longer the best at it. Somebody else down the Latino countries in the Caribbean who speak Spanish are going to beat us.
No,
it's
Japan
probably going to
will
be
win this
embarrassing.
thing, if anybody. They have the second best baseball league in the world.
Look, first of all, Japan's not going to win it. That's like saying Israel's going to win it for me. Either way, next topic. Barry Bonds in a dress as Paula Abdul. What?
I don't know. That was the ugliest Paula Abdul impersonator I've ever seen. He kind of looked like a buffed-up Tina Turner.
Hey, finally we can agree on something. Hey, Serena Williams, if you ever take steroids, you end up looking like Barry Bonds, you're guilty. You are guilty. It's hideous. It's disgusting.
Very true. Very true.
Why would you want to see that?
I don't want to see that.
I'm not so sure of that. Either way, move on to the final topic. After Sweden took the gold medal in hockey, the Red Wings did not really seem to care whether they came back to play. Do you have a problem with that?
I do. I mean, actually, who cares about Olympic hockey? It's not like winning the gold is the same as winning the Stanley Cup in the NHL.
Look, they're European. They like to celebrate for any reason. They have Boxer Day in England. Let them drink. Let them have fun. Either way, that's all we got. We know it's good. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Ivan. Thanks, Kevin. I'm not sure who won, but blood was spilled, so I'm a happy man. One more note before we leave you here on CSR. You can see much more information on our program on the web at the information conglomerate known as MySpace. You can find the information about the show, give feedback on the show, and talk with the show's staff, and watch some of the shows right there on the site, with our first episode of the season currently up on the main page. You can also email us at mailcsr@gmail.com, and you can find the webpage at www.myspace.com/CSRSFSU. Hope you wrote that down. Well, our time for today is just about done. We've laughed, we've cried, and maybe, hopefully, we've made the world a slightly better place.
Yeah. Tune in again next week, because we'll have another exciting half hour of highlights, interviews, and more. For Chris Farrajohn, I'm Michelle Dapper, and thanks for watching College Sports Report.